The observation deck of the Galactic Conservation Outpost hummed with the nervous energy of a dozen species, all watching the same impossible scene unfold below. Aaron Jastel stood alone in the enclosure, surrounded by 6 Vrakthian predator cubs, each one capable of tearing through reinforced steel plating with their developing claws. The Vrakthian ambassador, Krelmoth, chittered anxiously through his translator. "This is madness. Those cubs are still wild. Their mother was killed by poachers only 3 cycles ago. They trust no one." But the human didn't seem concerned. Erin knelt in the red sand of the enclosure, her posture relaxed, almost casual. The smallest cub, later designated as Cub Veka by the conservation team, approached first, drawn by curiosity rather than hunger. Its 6 eyes, arranged in 2 rows across its angular skull, focused intently on the strange, soft creature before it. Veka's siblings followed, circling the human with the practiced efficiency of pack hunters despite their youth. Their scales, still soft and mottled with juvenile patterns, rippled with bioluminescent warnings. In the wild, this display preceded an attack. The observation deck fell silent. Aaron extended her hand slowly, palm down. The gesture meant nothing to the cubs, but her scent, calm, unthreatened, spoke volumes in the chemical language all predators understood. Veka sniffed cautiously, then did what all young creatures do when investigating something new. It nibbled. Sharp teeth, designed to crack bone, pressed against Aaron's wrist. The Vrakthian ambassador lunged toward the emergency containment controls, but his aide held him back. "Wait," the aide whispered. "Look." Aaron didn't flinch. She didn't pull away or show fear. Instead, she did something that made every alien observer recoil in confusion. She tapped Veka's snout, twice, firmly but not violently. The cub released her wrist and sat back, tilting its head in confusion. The other cubs, emboldened by their brother's success, rushed forward. Teeth found fabric, then skin. Each time, Aaron responded the same way. 2 quick taps on the snout and the cub would release. Tap, tap, sit, tap, tap, sit. Within minutes, all 6 cubs sat in a perfect line before her, their tails curled around their haunches in the Vrakthian posture of attentive waiting. Krelmoth's translator struggled to convey his astonishment. "Impossible." The behavioral conditioning matrix predicted a minimum of 30 cycles to achieve pack discipline. "She's done it in minutes." Dr. Shalara, the station's xenobiologist, adjusted her optical sensors. "It's not conditioning in the traditional sense. She's not using pain compliance or reward structures. She's communicating." "Communicating what?" Krelmoth demanded. "Boundaries." In the enclosure below, Aaron reached into her satchel and produced 6 pieces of synthesized Vrakthian prey meat. She distributed them one at a time, making each cub wait its turn. Veka received his first, a reward for being brave enough to approach the strange human. The human philosophy, Aaron had explained to the conservation board before entering the enclosure, was simple. Predators aren't monsters. They're just animals trying to survive. They need structure, consistency, and respect. Humans have been training wolves for 40,000 years. We know a thing or two about turning wild into family. The board had been skeptical. Humans were new to the galactic community, barely 2 decades past first contact. Their homeworld was classified as a death world. High gravity, aggressive megafauna, disease-ridden ecosystems. That they had survived at all was remarkable. That they claimed kinship with their planet's apex predators seemed like dangerous delusion. But Earth's representative had been insistent. "Send Aaron Jastel. If anyone can rehabilitate those cubs, she can." Now, watching the impossible scene below, the skepticism evaporated. Aaron stood, and the cubs stood with her. She walked, and they followed in formation, maintaining their line. She stopped, they stopped. She sat. They settled around her, with Veka claiming the spot closest to her side. "How?" Krelmoth breathed. Dr. Shalara pulled up Earth's databanks, scrolling through humanity's biological history. Their planet was populated by hundreds of predator species, many of which humans domesticated. Canines, felines, even avian raptors. They developed an intuitive understanding of predator psychology because they had to. Their survival depended on it. But the Vrakthians are nothing like Earth predators. Predators are predators, Ambassador. The core behaviors transcend species. Humans learn to read body language, establish dominance without aggression, and create pack bonds across species lines. They did it so successfully that their domesticated predators became protectors, companions, family. In the enclosure, Erin ran her fingers along Veka's spine, scratching between the armored plates where the cub couldn't reach. The young Vrakthian's eyes half closed in contentment, a purring growl rumbling from deep in his chest. The other species in the observation deck murmured among themselves. The Karathi Collective's representative spoke first. The Council denied humanity's application to join the Galactic Conservation Corps. We said they were too violent, too aggressive. We were wrong, Krelmoth admitted quietly. Below, Arin continued her work, unaware of the political earthquake she was causing. She played with the cubs, teaching them to bring her objects, to respond to gestures, to trust that the strange, soft creature with the gentle taps would keep them safe. When the session ended and Arin emerged from the enclosure, the Vrakthian cubs pressed against the transparent barrier, watching her leave. Veka stood on his hind legs, pawing at the wall, making the high-pitched keen that Vrakthian young used to call for their mothers. Arin pressed her hand against the barrier, matching it to Veka's paw. "I'll be back tomorrow," she promised. "We'll practice more then." Krelmoth met her at the exit, his previous hostility replaced with something approaching reverence. "How did you know it would work?" Arin shrugged, wincing slightly as she examined the small puncture marks on her wrist. "I didn't, not for certain. But predators are predators. They need to know where the boundaries are. A tap on the snout isn't punishment, it's communication. It says that's too much without threatening them. Once they understand you're not trying to hurt them, just teach them they want to learn. And if you had been wrong," she smiled, "then you would have had to find another trainer. But I wasn't wrong. Humans have been making friends with teeth and claws since before we invented the wheel. It's kind of our thing." The Galactic Conservation Corps extended humanity's membership the following day. Within a year, human trainers were working across a dozen worlds, rehabilitating species previously considered too dangerous to save. And in a small enclosure on the conservation outpost, 6 Vrakthian cubs learned that the universe was bigger than their instincts, that trust could be earned with patience, and that the strange, soft creatures from Earth spoke a language that transcended species, the language of respect, boundaries, and love. Veka, now growing into his adult scales, still sat in perfect formation when Arin entered his enclosure. Some lessons once learned are never forgotten.